What's up, guys, and welcome back to another episode of the Put Work In podcast. We actually have our very first guest today. She's a deep friend of mine. Started her own business last year and has been off to the races this year for 2023. Can pretty much do anything and was our right-hand woman on race day for the marathon, capturing our content,
Saved our life.
Yeah, saved our life. Gave us motivation to keep going. Our first guest, Mckenzi.
Thank you. Yeah.
Hey. You said deep friend, but you really mean fiance.
My fiance, Mckenzi.
Yeah, that's me. Yeah, happy to be here.
Dang, that ring took up the whole screen.
I know, it's beautiful. Did a good job. Yep.
So, what have you been up to this week, Mckenzi?
Oh, this week I've been sewing a lot. That's my main business. Is I do Etsy and I sell custom outfits on there, Mckenzi Creation Studios. And I've just been working hard and eating a lot of potatoes because they make me happy. I don't know if I can say that on like a workout podcast, but potatoes are good.
Yeah, we like potatoes.
Me too. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm excited to talk about the day you guys died.
Yeah, we came back.
Maybe that'll be the name of our film.
The day we died.
That's
a good name, bro.
I've been thinking on because I started editing the documentary a little bit this week, and I'm trying to start thinking about names for it, which I think it'll come eventually. But
so we're shooting we shot a documentary on the marathon that we're talking about today. If we didn't say it 6 times before in other podcasts, we're gonna hype it up. It's gonna be really good, Trevor.
We're gonna rent out the theater.
Yeah, live stream it.
25-minute, 30-minute documentary.
Mm-hmm. It was fun to get B-roll that day. It was a good time to run around and get all the shots and stuff like that. So that was fun for me.
How many steps did you get that day?
I don't know, but I certainly did my own race that day, though, because I think I did at least 5 miles just walking to all the different points. I'm sure we'll talk about it, all the things you guys laid out for me in a spreadsheet. Yeah. But yeah, it was fun. It was a lot.
Yeah, it was we were very organized and planned.
Yeah.
Planned ahead, had a spreadsheet.
It was so stressful,
we did
though.
all that. We did all that, and I still felt like we were unprepared for what happened.
Well, we were prepared mentally, just physically, not as much as we could have been.
Mm-hmm. We'll also, the map was wrong. Yeah, the map was wrong too, so that was like another added thing of just like, okay, we're supposed to be here, but over here is actually where it is. So, yeah.
Oh, that wasn't on our end.
Oh, yeah.
We didn't make the map.
We did what we could do.
That's right.
Gosh.
But Dylan, you got you a new desk. I see you
I got a new
cardboard
desk
in the background.
Can't even see it, but you can see the aftermath. There's my old desk.
And what are you gonna do with the old desk?
I'm gonna sell it, I guess. Get rid of it. It's just kind of sitting there right now. I literally put all this together I put the Alex drawers together last night. Well, all of them, but we got 2. There's another one back there. It's a tall one.
Oh, yeah, I see it.
I'm trying to point my finger, but the camera is throwing me off. Yeah, it's like another Alex drawer over there. I did that one first. Did one of these, and then I just went to bed. Ate a pizza and went to bed. Don't judge me. Talking about potatoes.
Never.
Don't tell Lake. But did the other one this morning with Rylan, and then just threw this together literally like right before the podcast started. I threw all this together. I was just hoping I could get it done. Still got a lot of work to do, but yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah,
that's great.
New stuff.
Yeah, bro. It's always fun.
Podcast going up in value every time. Before you know it, you'll have background lights, studio all around.
Mm-hmm.
Monopoly signs. It's just on the list.
Shut up, Monopoly.
You're engaged. I like to think that I'm kind of like a role model for you and kind of got you, because you're taking after me is what I like, because I've been married for like 5 years. So
yeah,
I like to think you're following in my footsteps.
Yeah. We got whenever we get to wedding day, we got to recreate that picture that was at your wedding where we looked like 2 little sticks.
Yeah. Well, it's going to be hard to do that. We're just like twice the size now. I wonder how much we probably weighed 300 max then. We're probably like,
I think I was like 140 something.
yeah. So we're sub 300 there.
Yeah,
We
we're
probably
probably
put
both
on
up like
50 or 60 pounds total.
it's crazy.
Mm-hmm. You guys
How
are
much
itty
do you weigh
bitty.
right now?
Oh,
much
like
do you weigh right now?
170.
Thickening up. Yeah, you got to
Yep,
thicken
trying
up
to.
for the wedding. Fill out the. You don't want to look too skinny up there, you know.
Yep.
That's what he was saying. He said he want a slim fit suit so he can show off his muscles. I'm like, oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
yeah. I understand.
That's
Like
what
The
it's all
Rock.
about.
Whenever The
They
Rock
don't.
wears a suit, it's like you just see
Yeah,
everything.
it's like.
That's
But
my
if you're
goal right
skinny,
there.
if you're skinny and you got the slim fit, it just like it doesn't work like that. You're just skinny. It just
Yeah.
makes you look skinnier. But if you got a little muscle on you,
Yeah,
Yeah.
I got 4 months to really put on some stuff. So
put the curls in, eat the
still on
potatoes.
that hybrid build. I feel like the volume just keeps going up. This week for
That's
like
kinda like-
everything, it was like 7 sets. I was like, bro,
Each.
it's gonna take me 20, 30 minutes just to get through one of these workouts, and I got 5 of them.
Put the work in, see results. You know.
Sounds familiar.
Yep.
Podcast.
But hey, let's go ahead and dive into the Marathon Day, December 3rd, 2022. St.
Wow.
Jude Marathon.
Been over a month ago.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. But
Mhm.
I think we should just dive in from the beginning. I mean, I remember waking up at like 4:30 and me and Mckenzi left out, and I was like a little bit nervous for the day.
Yeah.
Because it was raining. I was like, bro, if it rains this whole time when we were running, it's like I
probably would have
packed
liked that
socks.
better.
I don't know. It would have been like good and bad all at the same time.
Yeah. It would have been all right for a couple minutes.
That's right. You brought so many socks, and you're like, please have these just in case, please. The socks, the
Yeah.
socks.
Preparation.
There's nothing worse than a blister that takes 2 months to heal.
Yep. The chafing
Never had
is
that
real.
happen.
Oh.
Yep. That 5K kind of scarred me.
So you want to like
But-
go back and forth with it, or you know, or just gonna go
Well,
one at a
I
time?
think I really want to hear like Mckenzi's perspective from the race, and then we can kind of give our perspective where we were at during that spot.
Yeah, that'll work. That sounds good.
Okay.
So when the race
Go through your
or
day,
before the yeah. So
and we'll jump in.
whenever the race started and we passed you that first time,
Yeah.
what was kind of like the energy like within, getting to the next spot, but also, I don't know, the preparing for the day ahead?
Yeah.
How did we
So
look?
you guys looked great at the start. You guys were strong. You looked like everybody else. You guys were going. It was awesome. And I love there was like a pope that was running or something and like blessing people because it was like St. Jude or it was a saint. I don't know. It was awesome.
He was in wave. He was like in the first wave.
Yeah.
So he was
First
trying to go
wave.
for like,
Blessing folk. It was awesome. But yeah, it was really high energy. And we started like right there by Beale Street in Memphis. So all these lights and the signs, and there was an announcer that was like echoing and you could hear all their voices like really loud. And it was they did a really good job at making it seem like we're here to run and have fun. And also we're doing it for a purpose to help people in St. Jude and help the kids that need it. So it was really awesome. And there was a lot of waves. I think there was like almost to the end of the alphabet amount of waves. So there was a lot of people. So it was special.
So many.
Yeah,
it
what
was
were
crazy.
we? We were like 8 or
I
something.
think like
Jay.
Jay or something like that.
Jay. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
It was a lot of energy. It was like shoulder to shoulder.
Uh-huh.
People yelling and music, and it was high energy. It would be very easy to go out with like a 5-minute mile pace at the beginning and then just die. And we were very smart, I think, and like reeled it in from the beginning.
Yeah, it's good. Pace yourself.
Yeah, we had like set paces for like the whole race, like down to the second. It didn't work. We didn't think it was gonna, work out like that anyway. But we had it if we needed it.
Yeah, it was something
we were banking time.
For.
Yeah.
So after that first time when we passed you, was it the 6 miles? Is that the next time we saw you? Was it that long?
It was. Yeah, there was a big bridge that you guys went under, and I was at like the foot of the bridge. And that's also where, like, I think the 5K and the 10K people split from the marathoners. There was some kind of split
Yeah,
also that was happening.
that was the
the
first
10K.
split.
So it's like everybody was all together until that point. Yeah. So yeah, you guys look good then. You guys were
That
going
felt
hard
like-
still.
Yeah, it was like that felt like quick. It didn't feel like a
No,
10K
that
like we
was-
had
it
just
was
run.
crazy,
How far
bro.
did we run? 6 miles. It didn't
Yeah,
feel like
that'd
that.
be 6 something.
Yeah, it did not. It did not feel like 6 miles. It felt like we just started.
Yeah.
I feel like the race didn't start till like halfway through, and then it was just like a battle.
So, so what did you do in between? Because that would at least taken us what, like an hour to do
Yeah.
that, hour and a half.
Yeah, so I got a lot of B-roll, and also I snuck into a La Quinta to use the restroom, and I also went shopping. I straight up like went to the other side of Memphis to go to Hobby Lobby because we don't have one here in town, and then I came all the way back. That was stressful. Shouldn't have done that because there are like hour intervals, I would say, between my stops that I had to go to, and so I tried to navigate the streets, and it was terrible too because a lot of the streets, especially when you get closer to downtown, are like one ways, and so it was like trying to figure it out. But the next spot was after that one for me was in Overton Park, and this is when the map got really misconstrued, I'd say, just because there was one spot you guys were supposed to be at, but it was far, so I had to like go against the grain of the race, and I was like, don't look at me, I'm sorry. Had like the camera strapped to my back and all your food also on me. I was like, where are you guys? So that was
Hustling.
We really had you doing the most that day.
I know, I was like
thinking
cutting
about
through
it.
the trees.
Came in clutch.
It was fun though. I had fun. I just felt like I was Kim Possible on a mission or something, but yeah.
You have your naked mole rat.
No, I wish.
Yeah,
But-
I mean, we were supposed to have a few more other people coming in to help, but it didn't work out that
Yeah.
day. But man,
Yeah.
you sure saved us on some next level stuff.
Mm.
Because I remember you talking about Overton Park. That was the first time I was just like really glad that we were gonna have some aid, because I think both of us at that point, that was what, like mile 16 or something.
That's when it got
Mhm.
hard. Like
Yeah,
after
because
that.
we had saw his sister before that, and that's when I think for
We were
me it
peaking.
started to hurt a little bit.
Yeah, you were hurting. I was
was like,
doing great.
Yeah.
That was like almost at the halfway point. Like
Yeah, it was
around
probably like
13
12,
miles.
mile 12.
Yeah, 12, 11, 13, somewhere in there. And
Mhm.
I was feeling good. It's when it finally started to kick in, like, but it was kind of downhill from there, honestly.
Yeah. Yes. I could tell that too, because as I was leaving the park, I was driving away and I saw you guys on the side, on like a sidewalk, or I think I saw just Dylan. Or no, I saw you,
yeah.
Trevor. I saw
Yeah,
both
you
of
honked.
you. And I honked at you guys, and you guys were like run walking, and I was like, uh-oh, they're losing
like,
steam.
It was terrible.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
That was
funny.
like the first wall that we hit. I think everything up until that point was like
That was the
just
wall.
smooth as butter. Like
I
we
never
were
passed
just
the wall after
chilling.
that.
Yeah, no.
You did.
We
I
were just
stayed
chilling
at the
till
wall.
then. Yeah. But so where did you go after that point when you left the park? Because we were in the park forever.
Forever. That's right. The park, that was, longest part right there. Next was somewhere with your grandparents, Trevor. His grandparents also came to support and ring the bells and be there. But we were there for a long time, waiting
we
for
were
you
slow.
guys. Because you guys,
Golly.
I was getting the text messages from Trevor, like dying, like one word answers. I was like, oh no. But yeah, it was at like the 20-mile marker with your grandparents. So,
Yeah.
Yeah. So we
That's
can
when
kind of talk
Trevor
about the
boomeranged.
park, Dylan, if you want. For me, the park was definitely
hell?
like, yeah, pretty much. Like when we got in there, because you had to do it twice, and it was such a long
Yeah.
route.
It's definitely mental doing it twice. You're
Yeah,
like,
because
here we
you
go
barely
again.
make it through the first one. Because that's when me and Dylan kind of like went into a daze and like lost each other. Was the second time around, wasn't it? Or was
Yeah,
it the
you
first?
can't. You actually went into the park struggling. I was feeling all right, but I was going downhill, and then I was hanging in there for the first round of the park, and then it was starting to hurt about halfway through that first lap, and then right when we hit the second lap, I was like, all right, I'm going to push it this round, and I pushed it just enough to where I didn't have any more push in me. The rest of the race, I didn't have anything left. That was it. Like,
Yeah,
and it was
'cause
like
I-
super slow pace.
I lost you for a while. I could see you. You got like way ahead. This is when we were on the outskirts
Yeah,
of the
that's what
park.
I'm talking about when I pushed it.
Yeah. I was like, I'm just gonna cruise right here because I can't do much more, but I'm gonna catch him eventually.
Well,
When he starts walking, I'm gonna just keep going,
yeah, you
and then I'll catch him.
always like take off, and then I catch up somehow, and then so I was like, all right, well, I'm just gonna take off right now because he's struggling bad, and I feel like I could push right here, just make a push, and maybe I can gain momentum, and it didn't work. I got through my mile that I set to run, and then Trevor caught up, and then he passed me. Like I stopped to fix my shoes, and like I almost never saw him again. Like I struggled. I think we walked another mile right there because it was like the whole mile I was struggling to
Yeah, we
catch up with
walked
him.
for 2 miles. Like at
Yeah, I
one
was
point,
looking
we
for
just
you.
could not run at all.
Yeah, I could not run at all. You finally that's right when we got to Mckenzi and your grandparents at the end of the park, and you had just stopped walking right before that. I guess you saw them and were like, "Dang, I can't walk in front of them." You took off, bro. I was like,
No,
golly, dude dusted me.
I think what it was. Remember that there was that lady. She had like I don't know. It was just one of the St. Jude things. Looked like a cape, and she was talking to us about. She's like, "Yeah, we're just struggling out here. We got to keep going." I don't even think she was in the race. I think she was just like, I don't know, like a helper or something. But I remember her talking to us, and I was like, "Man, I gotta pick this up a bit. I gotta pick this up a bit." And then it was also, yeah, I didn't want to walk in front of them. I was
Yeah.
also just really excited to see them at
Yeah.
that point.
It was sweet. Was that the lady though who gave you the salt? Or who was that?
No, I wish we would have took down her number because she left me in the dust.
Mm.
No, but that is a good point to bring up. There was this one point where my hamstrings were cramping my quads were cramping so bad. I was just laying on the side of the road trying to stretch them out, and this lady just comes up. She's like, "Do you need some salt?" And I was like, "I'll take anything right now." So then she gave it to me. And that really helped. But
Trevor saw Mckenzi and his testosterone went up,
boom,
and he took off.
Oh gosh. I know we were
So
excited.
yeah, y'all were waiting there for a while, but
Yeah.
kind of talk about a little bit of the film aspect of filming for us during that day, while also being able to give us, staying prepared to give us the fuel that we needed. But how did the filming going up until that point, like mile 20? I think that was 24, because we didn't see you to the end after that.
Yeah, I think it was like around mile 21, but like same thing, like 3 miles is nothing in a marathon. But
Yeah.
the filming part was really fun. I was shooting, I think, on your 80 lens. So I had the thing that was
85.
like 85. So I think the thing that was the most challenging was just making sure I could back up enough because there were a lot of people, especially at the end, like climbing up on the cement bricks that were holding all the giant flags and all this, like trying to get a good angle. But it was really fun. I just was trying to be creative and get as many still shots also, like just not moving at all because I didn't have a tripod. I didn't have any other tools other than a camera. So that was fun though. I really enjoyed that challenge. But I mean, yeah, I just went around, especially at the beginning too, getting different shots of like the countdown clock because they had this giant screen of like the countdown and all this stuff about St. Jude. That was awesome. So yeah, just going around, and I think the bulk of the editing was at the beginning, and then at each stop I would set the camera up either on the floor, like on the asphalt, or whatever, trying to get you guys also from different angles. But yeah, it was really fun. And the end, of course, getting you guys running through the finish line, and then the really cute,
Crying.
yeah, running, hobbling.
Is that Dylan?
Yeah.
You'll see it in the documentary. But Dylan, when he got to the end, the lady she got my name completely wrong when I finished. But Dylan
What was your name,
all
bro?
it was like Terry or something. I don't know. At least it had a T in it. But
yeah, I guess.
Travis.
But yeah, I was just like, at that point, I didn't hear it until I went back and looked at the footage later because everything was like a blur. But I think I'm getting a little bit of ahead of myself. I want to talk about, was that mile 21? Yeah,
I think
guess
it was.
so.
Yeah.
Somewhere around there. So at mile 21, that's when me and Dylan, I didn't think Dylan was going to make it for one at that point.
Well, I didn't either.
He was like, he would be like, hey, slow down, slow down. I'd just be walking, and then I would start leaving him a little bit. Because the only thing was, if I started to walk too much, I was in my head thinking, I'm not gonna finish if I keep going at this speed. There's no way, because I'm gonna be like so locked up from
Versus
just
in my
stiffening
head,
up.
if I didn't walk out, I wouldn't finish.
Yeah. So we were like going back and forth because we really wanted to finish this thing together. But
Yeah,
it was like
dreams
at
don't
that
come
point,
true, I guess.
Maybe next
at
time.
that point, I remember seeing my grandparents and Mckenzi. I teared up a little bit at that point because I was just like happy to see them. But I also remember telling Mckenzi, I was like, this is like the worst pain I've ever been in my life.
Yeah.
It's like I'm locking up. But they gave me my caffeine jelly beans, and that's really where,
Drugs,
yeah,
PEDs,
Mm-hmm.
take the fuel, you guys. Don't be that guy that's like, I can do it
do
without it.
drugs.
It really does help.
Yep.
The right drugs.
Dude,
not the hard
yeah, he
drugs.
like dusted me. It was a combination of the drugs, the jelly beans. I mean, seeing his people, and I don't even know what else. The hype. It was pretty hype for a little stretch there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I remember stopping there. I got the water, the Gatorade. I was talking to them a little bit. And I told Mckenzi, I was like, look, and I don't even think she did it because I asked Dylan later. He said, no. I was like, tell Dylan that I got to start running.
In her
And
defense,
I'm
I
about to
couldn't.
leave
I
out.
probably don't remember anything that was told to me.
No. I think that's my favorite footage of the whole day is you, Dylan, coming up at that marker because you were like
Yeah, I was
hobbling like
limping.
you had like a peg leg or something. It was terrible. But yeah, definitely in a daze there. But
Yeah. Hey, people were coming up to me at that point, like, because I didn't really realize I was limping.
yeah.
I just knew I was shuffling and going really slow. Like, I was going slower than my walking pace, my normal walking pace, running, like jogging. And people were like coming up to me, like, bro, are you okay? You gonna make it? I'm like, yeah, I'm all right. They thought I was hurt. And I guess I kind of was hurt. Yeah, my feelings were hurt for sure. But yeah, I mean, I was all right. I was like, I'm at this point, I'm not stopping. I'm not quitting. If I have to walk the rest of the way, I'm gonna go unless they pick me up. You know, like
Mm.
the like the time cap truck or something picks me up. That's the only way I wasn't gonna finish. But I was going very slow though.
Yeah. After that point, I was like, when I finished and I looked and you were still on the map moving, I was like, wow, he's got to finish
He's
now. So I'm
alive.
just, yeah, because I was like, man,
I wasn't that
I
far
thought,
behind you. Maybe like a
yeah,
mile,
yeah, it was,
because I was only like 20 minutes
like 20
behind you.
something minutes. Yeah.
That's a
But
slow
I
mile, but
remember in my head, I was thinking, I wonder if he left out because we didn't talk anymore. I didn't really get on my phone at any after that point. It was just me in the road because there was really not even anybody around me. But whenever I saw you in that turnaround neighborhood, I was like, "Come
yeah.
on, Dylan! Come on, Dylan!
You were
Go!"
too hype, and it kind of, if I'm honest, it kind of discouraged me. I was like, dang, he's feeling that good, and I feel like crap. I was like, God, dog, bro.
Yeah, that was probably the best I felt after
You
we
looked
hit that
fresh.
wall. Yeah,
Bro, you
because
looked fresh and you were
I
running.
caught up to somebody in that gap, and he was like, "Man, I remember seeing you on the ground. I didn't think you were coming back." So that like fired me up some more. And I was running with him when we passed you, and I was like,
In
"Oh
my
snap! There's
situation,
there's my friend right there."
I was seeing people that were like, I passed earlier in the race, past me. So, yeah, it was kind of an opposite perspective. I ate a popsicle right then, too. They had like popsicles. I just like got the popsicle
I
and was
put the
like,
popsicle on my back. I was like trying to like ice my pain.
I took it and I was like, I'm just going to walk and eat this popsicle. So I did. I mean, there was one girl right there. She was like, you know, when I got on that side that you were on, I saw her. She was like bawling.
Oh yeah, I saw her too.
I mean, I was
Mm.
crying here and
crying.
there. Like you said, I don't know if it was from the pain, the emotion, all the stories of the St. Jude kids on the flags almost to the end. Like they put that in a bad spot. Like I'm already hurting and
That
on an
woman
emotional roller
that was
coaster.
like 30, 40 years old and it had the
Yeah.
poster that said, "I'm alive because you run." I was like,
Yeah,
"Oh
bro.
my
I teared
gosh."
up when I saw that. I was like, dang, bruh.
Yeah.
I'm already limping.
Yeah.
Now you got me out here crying.
Yeah,
Yeah, they made it special.
I was getting a good bit emotional in there. It's just like it just happened. Like I'd always never be crying when somebody passed me though, but when I was alone, it was like it would just hit me. I was like, they was already worried about me because I was limping, and if I was like crying too, I was just like, please don't get nobody no ideas of getting me out of this race.
Yep. He's like, get out of my way. I'm finishing
I'm
this
not
thing.
doing it.
So, what did y'all do, Mckenzi? Because that was probably probably an hour and a half, 2 hours to the finish line. Because that was like 5 miles left in the race.
I just got food and then came to the finish line. So it was a bit of a walk too because parking was a thing. So yeah, just wanted to be there, be sure. So not too much. It went by fast, I remember. So yep, and just got ready for you guys to cross the finish line.
It went by really slow for me. Slowest hour and a half in my life.
I think it was just like the last when we went over that big bridge that said 25, and it was like one more mile. That's where it was so long for me. Because I was
Longest
like,
mile.
yeah, the last mile,
I mean-
which luckily I had a pacing crew that came up, and they helped me push at least halfway through that mile, and they just left
Golly.
me.
When I was at
'Cause
that point, there was another guy that came up, and he was like, bro, he was in the same position as me, so I didn't have any motivation. He was kind of pulling me down. He was like, man, I was doing great, and then I just blew up. I haven't been able to run since. I ended
Oh
up
my gosh.
dusting him, but we got to the mile 26. Like, there's like a marker. It says 26 miles, and they're taking your picture when you cross it, and it's like another very long distance before you get to the finish line. Apparently, the timer was off because it told everybody that I was at 26. And then it was like, they said it was like 15 minutes later before I got to 26.2.
That was a really cool app, though. They had a really good setup just to see the point where you guys were at. So that was really cool. But yeah, it was kind of also off, though. You're right.
Or maybe I was just that slow.
Maybe.
You threw it.
I know
you
I
threw
kicked
it
it
off.
at the end though. I was zooming in at least a 14-minute pace.
That's pretty fast compared to running walking those 22s,
Yeah, 25
24s.
miles, 25.
Because I got back down to 13, 14 when we hit that gap, and then I was pretty steady right there until the end. Man, when I like the part you're talking about, the 26, when I turned that corner and I saw the finish line, I just bolted. I think I got down to like an 8 or 7 minute mile. I looked down on my watch, and then I was like, I got like halfway through it, and I was like, oh, I gotta slow up. So I slowed up and walked a little bit more, and then I sped it back up.
Yeah, I saw you start your GoPro because you were holding a GoPro the whole time, the whole race, pretty much. I saw you start it and then run.
It was like the handle on it was like foam, so it was kind of like my stress ball, and like I use it to roll my quads too. So I was like,
wow,
I was getting the most out of that GoPro and the mount.
All right, Trevor. So I want to get in a little deep here. You know, you went through some stuff. I'm gonna let you talk about it. But you know, how did that fuel you during the race? Like, if you wanted to go into that.
Yeah, so I think it gave me a purpose for what this race really meant to do. Because like for all the people that don't know, my mom passed away in November, just tragic accident, and very caught off guard because you're never ready. Even someone that's lived a long life and they're telling you that certain amount of time to live. I still think you won't be ready for it. But especially like one where it's you talk to them an hour before the accident happens and they're saying, oh yeah, they're rushing her to the emergency room. But that day came, and I remember, especially when we hit that gap of 24, feeling this sense of like my mom was with me there in the race, like watching me step of the way, especially the last half a mile. I remember recording it on the GoPro, just knowing that I wish she could have been there to see it, because I know she would have been at the finish line. But every time it started hurting, I was like, I can't quit. There's no way I'm gonna quit this, because of like that back in my head. It's like, a lot of people were there. They had those signs that said "running for so and so." That was like maybe their cousin that passed away or had cancer or something like that. I mean, the whole time in my head, it's like I'm running for my mom. I mean, even Mckenzi at the end, she went and got like this little Christmas ornament and sewed like a little piece of fabric on there. That was like someone like looked like they were holding a banner that said "running for mom." So I think when I got to that point at the very end, I mean, I started tearing up, because I was just like, it was kind of like the ending of this process of grieving for me, was that race, like thinking about it. Because I knew I had that whole day to just sit there and kind of walk through everything. Obviously, there's still points where it comes up each day. It's like a thing of like, dang, like this just sucks. But I think having that race, especially just seeing all the people come together, it's something I'll never forget of that day. That made it like really special for me.
Yeah, it was definitely an emotional and spiritual experience, especially that last good stretch. Even but seeing what you've been through and you being able to push that hard and do something like this, is inspiring to me. It's probably one of the reasons I finished, because I'm like, God, if Trevor's finishing and what he's been through, I can do it. And I've got my family at the finish line, and it kind of brought to reality the fact that any one of them could have not been there too. Even my kids or my wife. So it was powerful and inspiring to me that they were at the finish line. That's kind of what got me there. Is like, all right, they're waiting there for me. I'm gonna finish. I'm not gonna be like, yeah, I didn't finish. They picked me up. Y'all come get me. They're
Carry
sitting
me
there.
to the car.
I mean, they're not doing anywhere near what we're doing by sitting there. But they're sitting there. It was really cold, and kids, it's hard to keep up with kids in that situation. They're sitting there standing waiting for an hour or two. So it's kind of inspired me to finish, pushed me to finish, that they would be there. Even though after the race it was kind of hard to get into the car. You don't think about that. You're like, all right, we finished, put it all out there. Now you got to walk a mile to get to your car.
Yeah.
I ended up taking my shoes off. I was like, bro, my feet hurt so bad. I was like barefoot walking up a hill to the car. Couldn't even walk. I was like, at that point I was like waddling like a pregnant woman.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I understand that, because I was in the same thing. I was like, bro, the car is all the way over there. How the heck am I even gonna, like, I
was
just gave everything I
delirious.
had just to get across this finish line.
You came up to me like right after the race with the camera, and I was like,
You were like not there at all.
I was like gone, bro. Like
I
they
was
were
like,
my
get your
family.
medal. Get your medal.
My family was there, and everybody was trying to take pictures with me, and I was like, bro, I got to use the bathroom, and took my shoes off, and I was just somehow I ended up wandering off, getting lost by myself, and then they just all showed up and then went back with me. But like I was barefoot walking around the streets, trying to figure out what I was doing. I was like, I'm going without y'all. I'm going to find a bathroom, and I went ahead, and they called up to me. That's how slow I was.
Yep.
Yeah, I remember.
No, you can go.
Okay, I was just gonna say, I remember Dylan. We asked you to take a picture of, Trevor and I, and you took one picture. Said, "Boop, okay," and then handed the phone back. I was like, "Okay." I was like, "He's gone. It's all right. It's all right." Yeah,
there,
one and done.
Take it.
Yep.
I remember sitting
it was
down.
a good picture.
Hey, all you need is one.
Mm-hmm.
I remember sitting down. There was like a hotel that we were gonna eat at. There's like a restaurant next to it, and it was closed. And we were like, golly, we walked all this way. But yeah, I went to. I sat down, and I felt so good to sit down and get off my legs. And then they were like, all right, let's get up. So I tried to get up, and I fell down.
Oh,
I could barely
gosh.
get up, bro. I was so stiff. And from that point, I was just barely making it. We went out to eat, and like if I had to have something to hold on to or somebody helping me, even then it was painful, but I had to have somebody to help me just so I didn't fall down. And I crushed some chicken tenders. And then I'm pretty sure I went home, took a shower. That helped a lot. And laid up in the bed. We were going to get some dinner, but I was just like, I'm going to sleep.
Yeah, good night. 50K steps in the bank. Let me go to bed.
I don't know if you guys have discussed this yet, but why did you guys want to run a marathon? Like, was there a big reason?
Trevor, he made me do it.
No,
it's kind of like it's bucket list thing, you know?
Yeah.
It was definitely I didn't think we'd run a marathon this early, to be honest. Because we had been talking about I think it was after the 10K double decker. I texted Dylan. I was like, I was just on the high of running. Excuse me one second. But I was like, man, we need to do a half marathon sometime before summer ends or something. We're around there. And Dylan was about to have his second kid, and it was like, man, that date kind of falls on the due date. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do it because
I'm the type of guy though. I was like, yeah, I'll do it.
Yeah, I was
I'll have
like,
the newborn
if
baby
we're
with
going to
me.
do that, because we were thinking about doing a half marathon. I was like, well, if we can't do that, then we have till December. And I've been thinking about the St. Jude Marathon ever since someone told me about it. I was like, bro, let's just go ahead and do this marathon. And I mean, surprised enough, Dylan was all for it because I was gonna do it regardless. But it helps having somebody there that's gonna run it with you to keep you accountable.
Yep.
Because we would meet up every 2 weeks or so and do like our long run together, and it would just be increasingly hard each time. And once we did, I think it was when we did that 16 miler, that's when it started to really feel real that we could do this.
Yeah.
Because it honestly wasn't that bad.
Even though I like blew up on the 20 miler, it was like a couple of weeks later, it kind of built confidence. I was like, I could do 6 more miles, and that was like in the middle of training. So, feeling fresh for a marathon, you feel like you could do it. But from my perspective, Trevor's like, he's always talked about doing a marathon and getting into all this endurance stuff. And I'm like, yeah, bro, that's good for you. But, I was like, I'm going to do a marathon with him. I knew I was going to. I just didn't know how soon it would be. And probably too soon. But, yeah, we did it. And, he was texting me. He was like, I've signed up. Like, he was trying to sign up. And I was like, well, I better go ahead and sign up if I'm going to do this. Because if I don't sign up, I won't do it. So I signed up. And then he was like, yeah, I couldn't sign up. And I was like,
It wouldn't let me on the computer. I don't know why. It was it might have been something with like Chromebook. I don't know. Because I did it on my phone and
signing
it
up
worked
first.
Yeah.
And
because like your number was like 800 and something. I think it's in the background right there. 820.
820.
Then mine's like 13 something.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. It was
so
crazy.
Moral of the story is put work in with friends.
Yeah. Friends always help.
That's right.
And like my schedule, having a baby, it wasn't ideal for training for a marathon, but and I have other stuff in the gym I'm working on too. So it kind of wasn't like the main priority, but it was up there. As long as I was getting a couple of runs in a week, I was fine with that. And just my goal wasn't to train optimally for a marathon. It was really like, you're here, get closer to in marathon shape. I definitely wasn't in marathon shape when we ran, but I was a lot closer December 3rd than I was in August. So that was kind of my goal of just get closer. There's no way, with 2 kids, a full-time job, there was no way, and other priorities, no way for me to optimally train to, do my best marathon. There's, if I cut all my other gym workouts out like Trevor did, then maybe, if I, for sure, if I didn't have kids or anything else, that's not really an excuse. There's just people with kids that do it. but they prioritize the marathon training. And for me, that just wasn't in the books. Maybe next time I'll go a little deeper, but I don't know. I'll be better for sure, just because I feel like doing the marathon the first time is like the biggest step, and then doing it again, I feel like you just automatic PR. I don't know, especially as slow as we were.
With running, I really think it's a real high percentage of just the mental aspect of running compared to there's definitely physical. It's a physical activity.
Oh yeah.
But I think when we did the marathon, so spoiler alert, we're doing the marathon again in December, and we're adding people this time
and others.
Yep. And we're adding a few more people, so that's exciting that people are gonna do this with us.
I'm gonna be by myself.
I think she's talked about doing the half marathon.
Yeah, I'll do a half.
There.
I've done 2 halves before, so I could do it again.
I might do the half.
No, you got to do the whole to see where you're.
You got to do an Ironman.
I might do the marathon one more time and then just give it every other year.
Retire.
Yep.
No, then you'll be ready, like she said, for the Ironman.
It is.
Oh, it is. It is a big commitment. I would say that was the hardest thing. Was you talked about it a little bit, but for me, in the beginning, it was easy to do my runs that were under 5 miles and my weight training, and hit that consistently. But once I started to get over, 8 miles was my short runs during the week, and then it hit 13 to 20 at one point on the weekends. I was like, I've got to give up this weight training because it's affecting where I can't be full aspect on running. And that to me was hard because I would run and then a couple weeks later I look in the mirror and I'm just boning up because I'm just losing all my muscle mass because I'm just running and not really eating the right amount. Yeah. So that for me was the hardest part, making that huge commitment, which now I think I have an aspect in a base built to where I don't have to do that. Maybe, the month before the marathon, but not 2 or 3 months before it cut out all my weight training.
Yeah. You can make it happen.
So what do you think your time's going to be this next year? So your time was
6:05 or something. I don't even know. I don't care. 6 hours. It's anything added on to that. It doesn't even matter. I'm thinking about, the goal was sub 5. We were pacing for sub 5. And if I can go and not I didn't hit a wall energy wise or hydration, no cramps or anything like that. I started to cramp a little bit, but ran it off. And so if I just execute exactly the same, I feel like I could run a marathon. If I prepped again, did the exact same prep and the exact same everything, I feel like it just depends if my feet hold up, I feel like, I don't know. It might be my shoes.
I think you just needed better shoes. Yeah. If you had better shoes, you
my
probably
shoes they were kind of more of a beginner running shoe, but you need kind of a little bit better shoe if you're going to run 20 miles on it. And I feel like if my shoes and everything conditions are right, I could hit the sub 5. If I train hard next year, I'm thinking, I found this guy, I think his name's Bedros Keuilian or something. And he's this rich guy. He's always talking about doing hard stuff. Yeah, whatever. He's talking about fitness challenges. He said he's a weight training guy, and his wife's a marathon person, and he just sucked at running. And one day he was like, I'm going to run a marathon. When's your next marathon? I'm just going to do it. He said he got tired of saying, one day I'll run a marathon. He decided today was the day, right? And his wife had a marathon in 6 weeks. So he trained for 6 weeks for a marathon, which is really short. But I'm thinking about, doing that challenge, maybe middle of the year, 6 weeks. I feel like it's going to be a lot of hard work and a lot of running. He's running almost every day, maybe every other day. But it's a lot of running, and it goes up really quick. But, it's a challenge. It might be one of those YouTube challenges. But
yeah, I think that's a good idea.
I think even, because, with my other goals, marathon training, like a full block of marathon training and put in the proper mileage is not like, again, it's still not in the books. Like I have some legit strength goals I want to hit, and marathon training is not conducive to that. I feel like 6 weeks it's going to be very hard to lose a good amount of strength. Like you could put strength and muscle back on quick, as long as it's not been super long ago since like if you go like years without it, it's going to take a little work. But yeah, so I might do that next year, the 6 week. I feel like 4 to 5 hours is going to be our goal easily. And it may change. We may end up like being beasts and be like, all right, we're going to hit 355.
Man, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, it'd be nice. I'd quit.
Yeah, PR. Here we go.
Legit.
It'd be like Neve. If we get like 8 miles in, we're like, we're not gonna hit the goal. Time to just
Quit.
Go eat.
Yeah, it's just wasting time. Don't want to waste a week of training.
It's like, I ain't going PR. I might as well just go eat now.
Yeah, like 3 hours, sub 3 hours is like you're at elite level. Like people,
you
like
gotta lose weight.
You're
Like,
looking at
be
like
really
Nick
skinny.
Bear, and you're like, oh, this guy did it. I'm like, bro, this dude is elite. Been running all his life almost. He's elite. And he even had to lose like 30 pounds to hit 250.
Just to hit it, yeah.
So that's elite. Like, so what's the average? You said the average marathoner can run what?
Like, I don't know what the first, but it said like, I know average male, like, this isn't doing their first marathon, was like 4:45, something like that, 4:30.
All right, the average time to run a marathon for men is 4:21, and woman is 4:48, according to marathonhandbook.com. So, straight up Google searched. But 4:21, I feel like that's doable. We haven't, like, honestly, if we're honest, like, I always look back at stuff I do, and I'm like, okay, I got to here. Like, even with my squatting, I'm like, all right, I got to 410. And I look back, and I'm like, it felt hard in the moment, but I look back and, like, my training and everything, and I'm like, I didn't really go hard. I didn't really push myself as hard as I could. I could go more. And, like, even with this marathon, I know I didn't train good. Didn't train very well, and I know you didn't either. You did for a couple weeks, here and there, but you kept hitting roadblocks left and right. I feel like if we actually like prioritized it like to the full extent and did it, we would like, we're hitting 4 hours easy. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. You never know your limits until you. And it's like something I might have mentioned this in another podcast. People are always talking about elite people and like, yeah, but it's their genetics. But until you put the level of work in that they put in, you don't even know if their genetics are better than yours. You don't know what your genetics are poised to do until you push yourself as hard as the elite. So most people
hard work will beat out talent every day.
Almost every time. And, unless you're talented and work hard, then you're just going to win everything.
Everything.
But you don't know your talent until you work hard. Because everybody that's talented is already up here. Talented people, they start right here. And, if you're not talented, you're right here. But you see talented people that work hard, they're way up here. And you're like, well, they're just talented. No, you're talented too. You just didn't work hard.
Yep. It's like any skill. I do a lot of sewing a lot. And when I started, I didn't know I had a natural knack for it until I went to school for it. And then I had to sew like 12 hours on top of my 18 hours of school every week. And so I think doing the reps, and look at me, I'm using like workout terms, doing the reps, but doing the time and the consistency. And a lot of it was forced labor because it was for a degree. So I had no choice. I don't know if I would have done that much on my own volition, but I think there's a good point to that, like doing the time and doing the work. And then maybe you realize like, oh my gosh, like I love this because I have put so much time into it that I have got the tools now and the passion for it to keep going and get better. So I just think in my journey, I guess I have loved sewing more and more as I've gotten better at it, because it just opens more doors. You're able to do more and more the more you learn, the more you do.
Yeah, and there's a lot of like failures that you hit. I feel like when you hit those failures, that's where you're really, especially the ones that hurt the most, like you won't forget that whenever you're going back and doing it again, you're like, I just can't do that. I don't want
Yeah.
that. Either like it's an embarrassment or it's you actually got injured or hurt yourself by making a mistake. You're like, I can't do that again.
Yeah, I think
But
that's
that can also create a barrier between you doing it, though.
yeah, I
It's
feel
like
like
I
that's where a
think for
lot of
me,
people are.
especially when I broke my arm, getting back into working out, or like even just like we would go out there and hit in practice. I just like wouldn't hit as hard because I was like, oh man, what if in the back of my head, even though like I feel okay subconsciously, I'm like, man, what if something happens again?
Yeah, I feel like fear is a roadblock for a lot of people. Even for me, like you were saying, but like it keeps people and keeps me like away from doing and fully committing because it feels like if I don't commit and I just halfway do it, I do bad. I can just say, well, I didn't really try. That's what I did through school. I didn't really try in school, and I've kind of, I was up there in the AP classes, but I was the lowest guy in there. I didn't really want to try because what if I actually tried and I still fail?
Yeah.
So that's what if I actually tried to run a sub 3 hour marathon and I did not get close? That'd be embarrassing. But so I'm just not even gonna really train for this. I'm gonna halfway do it, and then if my result, I could just say if it's bad, I didn't really try, and if it's good, I'll be like, heck yeah, It's the same thing, really, like with anything, man. I've dealt with that with a lot of things in my life. Like, it's just hard. Fear crushes. It kills you.
Yep. I think it's deciding, not that I don't think it's like fear will ever go away. I think it's just deciding what's more important to you at the end of the day.
Fear is always going to be there.
Yeah. Sure is. It sucks. But I think it can also be a catalyst. But
you'll never be great.
Yeah.
If you don't, push past that fear, though.
There's like a video of Will Smith. Like, it was the first time he's skydived, and he was talking about this wall of fear that you're scared up until the point you push past that wall, and then you're just like, wow, I've really missed out on a lot of things because I was scared to just take this one extra step.
Yeah, I mean, would you rather be nothing because you never tried? Or would you rather try and fail and find something else? Odds are if you try, you're going to figure it out. You're going to find what at least if you try and you fail, well, all right, that's not for me. I'm going to try something else. You won't waste as much time as if you're just sitting there staring at these things and you're too scared to jump on them. So they're just going to stay there and you're never going to do anything. You're never going to be anything because you never have the faith to jump out and do it. But if you're like, okay, I'm just going to do this. And if I fail, I'll learn that way. I'll go to the next thing instead of having this whole list of things that you could have been or should have been, you should have done, but you're not going to do it because you're scared. Everybody's scared, it's just about the people that push past that fear. And they're actually like the people that are successful have failed at a lot of things. They just finally found something that they're good at. And so you just got to jump out there and fail. Everybody's going to fail. Just got to do it. That's the only key to success, really. You might find your success the first time you do it.
Fail forward.
Yeah, you might find that thing the first time, and eventually you're probably going to want to do something else because you want something to challenge you. And pushing past fear is a challenge.
Yep.
I said what I said.
So, Dylan, what are you afraid of? No, just kidding.
Man, I'm afraid of that cold water in the morning.
What?
I've done.
He's been doing
cold baths every morning. I've done 5 out of 7 days this week. I actually kind of look forward to it a little bit, but whenever I'm like super hesitant is when it's the worst. But like when I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna get in there. It's like, all right. Once you get in there, it's like, okay, But it's just taking those small steps. You have to, first step, put your feet in the water. Pour the water, and put your feet in. All right, next step, and then just like one at a time, and then all right, tomorrow I'll do one more step. That's what I usually do.
It's like when you jump into a pool for the first time. There's the people who jump all the way in or put their foot in. I was just jump in because it's more fun and dramatic, but I don't know.
It's
Gotta
actually
ease
easier.
into it. It is,
Yeah.
yeah. Less fear. That's right. Yep.
So Mckenzi, you called Dylan out. What's your biggest fear right now? Are you going through?
Oh my. I don't know. I think I fear my brain half the time because I'm one of those people who get like super stressed out over things that I could just, if I just put the work in, like put work in, if I just did it, it would take like all this like stress off my mind. But I think that's been, I don't know if that's a fear though. I don't know. I think also the fear of being stupid, especially when it comes to posting and putting myself out there, is something I really second guess a lot. I've been wanting to make sewing tutorials, for example, and doing stuff on YouTube, but I really haven't yet because I feel like nothing's perfect enough. But when it comes to that, and I think also like when it comes to doing a marathon for the first time, like you're not ever going to train the perfect way. There's no perfect way. Same thing with the creative process. It's like when you're doing something, especially for the first time, it's like it's not ever going to be perfect. And I think the desire for everything to be well done, it's a great desire, but it can be one that holds me back a lot. And I think that's pretty universal too. So that's what I would say, being blunt and all. But yeah, just doing it.
Yeah, it kind of goes into what we've been talking about, pushing
Exactly.
past that layer of fear. And then, because, like, especially with this podcast, I think it was just a moment of like people talking about it and
Yeah.
just courage of the moment. And then we started doing it. And now it's kind of getting to a point where we're building that momentum to the point where we just got to do it.
Got to do
We
it.
Yeah.
set the
Got to
standard of doing it and just getting
do it.
1% better every time.
Yeah,
Just
I
do
think
it.
I'm getting to that point because I've been
Got
marinating
to.
on so many ideas. I had so many ideas that are like
Like
cooking in my
steak.
head.
Oh.
Yeah, like a good steak in an oven. So I think it's getting to the boiling point, and I'm about to explode. So I got to
Or a
do something
potato.
about it. A good, oh,
Or a
even better.
potato.
What about you, Trev?
I think right now the scariest thing I'm going through is passing this insurance test.
Ooh.
Yeah, bro, you stepping out. It's always a step with a new career because
Yep.
there's always a little bit of investment in the beginning of learning. And
Yeah.
you got a pretty good job that you found. I mean, for me, I was going from a job with a set check I was getting every week and benefits. You're getting benefits, aren't you?
Yeah.
So I don't have any benefits with my job now. I get, I pick my own hours. It's all up to me, commission only. So, the roof is, it's the potential is like the sky's the limit.
Mhm.
I'm trying to think of the word for that. The sky's the limit on my on what I could, how much money I can make, but or I could call it safe and just barely make it by. And at least I have state retirement, right? And that's what I was getting a lot of pushback on that when I first switched. Just because it's safer to stay
Yeah.
with my old job, but it definitely took faith to get to switch full in to this job I have now. But it paid off. I've made more money. I've had more time for everything else in my life because I can make my own
Yeah,
hours.
absolutely.
And that to me, each job was kind of like a stepping stone to where I'm at now. And this is even a stepping stone to what I'm going to do next, whatever that is. But for me is if it pays my bills, it kind of, even if it, pays, I can make, you can make do. People are making it on less money. People are making it
Yep.
on more money. It's really making it work with what you got. And I could do that with any pay. So to me, it's really like the freedom to do what I like to do this. Like it's Saturday morning, but through the week, I barely, I work like 3 days a week on average. So it gives me time to do stuff I want to do, spend time with my family and create. So, and
Mhm.
Yeah.
do what I
I,
want to
I
do.
remember at your old job, I would hit you up to like do some stuff. You're like, oh man, I gotta work. I
Gotta work.
can't do that.
Yeah.
So yeah, but I totally get that. I think, and what you said about like everything building up to this point, I do think about that with this job. And one thing, because I don't know, I mean, we might be 3 months down the road and I'm being like, yeah, that wasn't the job for me. But right
Hey,
now, looking on the outskirts of it, I think a lot of it was, like you said, my faith that has really guided me through it. Because when I went into like interviewing for new jobs, like selling insurance, that wasn't really even on my mind at all.
yeah.
But I think when I got in the interview process and she started talking about it, and I started seeing like, with my mom's passing and how it happened, and going through like, trying to figure out this life insurance thing, like most people don't really have to deal with, and understanding the process of it now, like just reading through what I'm studying, I'm able to know more about what me and my family need to do, or how we need to send it, or who we need to talk to. But being in the field, I think that's going to help me a lot, because they say selling, or this isn't really like selling in a sense. It's more of like giving people opportunities to make a choice to help their life. But within doing that, they say the quickest route to it is either you putting in the reps or you having the conviction. And I think for me, having that conviction of like, oh, I want to help people because I don't want them to be in this situation that I'm in, or like the process of like how, you know, money could, it doesn't solve all the problems, but it sure helps it
It
when,
helps.
you're going through a mental crisis and you still have to go and put in some late hours just because you have to have some bills paid.
Money gives you freedom.
It
Because if
can,
you don't have money, you gotta work to pay your bills. You
Yep.
think about like, the richest people. I mean, we're going off into the weeds. Like the richest people, like they can do whatever they want. Some of them are like a slave to their money, but
double-sided coin
that's a whole
there.
other But
Yeah.
if if they
It
if they were
creates freedom.
consent, they
freedom.
could. They have the freedom. It's just a lot of things, man. You trade your freedom for safety.
Yeah,
Yep.
I'm excited for you, Trevor, though, because I feel like you'll be a really empathetic salesperson, which I think is rare. I think you're going to be able to empathize and really share your story because you have gone through a lot, and it was an accident. And if you did have what you're going to offer these people, if you had this insurance, half the headache for your family would be alleviated, So,
Yep. Absolutely.
yeah.
But I think in closing though, and us being the basis of a fitness podcast, each guest, I want to hear like their fitness goal for the
Oh,
year.
no, stop.
Oh, you're
Because-
trying to call Mckenzi
because-
out.
Because
Stop.
what we want
I
to
like
do is like we
potatoes.
want to keep people on here
Yeah.
and bring them back, but also keeping them accountable and the
Yeah.
stuff that they want to
Give us
do.
something to
Oh
talk about
my
on another podcast.
Guys.
So this year in 2023, we're 2 weeks in, but have you thought about like what type of fitness goal that you're trying to set for this year? Or it doesn't need to have the basis of a fitness goal, but
I
like
got
a
one
goal
I'm
in
working
general
on
for
right
that
now.
aspect.
That's good.
I'll start. Are
Go
we
for
all
it.
three doing it? I mean, they've probably heard this before, but I'm trying to get 20% better in the leaderboard of the CrossFit Open. I'm doing it.
Coming up
There you
next
go.
month.
Sucks. It's hard. It's coming up. Yeah, it starts next month, like a month from now. Woo.
Nice.
But it's gonna be hard. Putting in the work, seeing the results. But
Yeah.
so I'm putting in the work. It's hard because like it's hard when I can't get all the workouts done. Like today, I didn't even go to the gym today, and I was supposed to catch up today, so I guess I'll catch up tomorrow. Or if I might go later. But it's hard, mentally, because you're like, man, I didn't do everything on the list, But I did something, and I did get better. So, every day you just got to get a little bit better, and it's going to add up. Every consistent days, put in work, put the work in you can put in, and it's going to add up. And I'm going to get better for sure. If I don't get 20%, at least I push myself to 19%. I'm thinking that I'm gonna do a lot better than 20% though. But we'll see, because CrossFit sucks, bro. I can't breathe, bro. Like I got sick like the last week of December, and like I haven't been able to breathe right since.
Dang. Sorry. Yeah.
But it is what it is.
Get a whiff. Yeah.
We'll make it happen. I'll die.
Push through.
Oh, gosh.
Whenever you are able to breathe, you're going to be able to,
Kill
push
it.
10
It's
times
a
harder.
complete different intensity than a marathon, though. It's like a marathon's like this.
You got to be prepared for everything.
Yeah, that's what I'm going for. My main goal, like with my fitness, what I do, I just want to keep up with all my friends. Like some of them are into lifting, some of them are into running, some of them are into we're into CrossFit. CrossFit's a
Gotta
good
start sewing, man. Catch up with Mckenzi
yeah.
and
I mean,
sewing.
keep up
There
with
you go.
yeah. I mean in the gym. You don't sew in the gym, do you?
You could sew in the gym.
I guess you could.
That might be fun. Sew and walk. The walking
Curls.
treadmills.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah. There you go.
that's me. Go ahead.
Nice. I don't know.
Yeah, I
I don't
want to hear
really.
Mckenzi.
I'm sure you do. I came up with a goal
You said you want to do the half marathon,
of
but
it one day.
that's so
That's a long
deep.
time.
That's just so deep into
If you
it
miss, you
that I
can't
feel
correct
Yeah.
for 23.
Well,
yeah.
Well, so I love the gym like I love a really deep friend that doesn't live in the same city as me. So when we're together, I take the most of it, and then I take my time apart and do my thing, and then we come back. So I go to the gym for like 2 weeks, and then I'll stop. I don't know. I go when it's not stressful, which is like never. So there's that about me. But I do have goals, so because I do obviously it's a new year. We just started 2023. And I am also, Trevor and I were getting married in May. So it's like, you want to look good. I want to look, I have goals like that, I would say. But I think something I was thinking about actually last night is like, I really want to cut sugar out of, like, not all sugar, because I feel like that'd be very challenging, especially as a coffee lover, to cut sugar out. I know. But like soda, if I could get rid of soda, y'all. Yeah, I know. Cheers. I got my coffee cup here too. It says, I love to sew, very fitting. But I feel like if I could get soda out and like the irrelevant like chocolate bars or like Nutty Buddies that I made the mistake of buying,
That'll go
like
a
if
long
I could,
way.
it would go a long way. So I think that goes along with a goal, and then also just going to the gym. And at the gym that Trevor and I go to, there's like these classes, like spin classes and all that. And I think doing something that's like a group setting would also be really conducive to me, like actually going to the gym. Like I'd actually show up, because I think I do struggle with consistency, like a lot of people.
Yeah. You might meet some buddies there too. And
Yeah.
they'll be like, why didn't you come to class?
Yeah.
That's where I met Peyton.
So
Peyton
really?
Cook.
Yeah.
At the gym.
No way.
I mean, I kind of grew up knowing his brother. I mean, Trevor, what's your goal?
Yeah.
My goal.
Just give us one.
Yeah, I mean, right now, all I'm trying to do is be consistent with this hybrid build and see what produces out of it, and see if because I'm not necessarily training for anything right now. I mean, we've got some races coming up, but I think by just being consistent in this program, it's
building a base.
Help. Yeah, it's gonna help these.
Yeah.
So, because I've been liking how, I have not been enjoying the amount of volume as much, but I do like how it's making me feel. But also,
it'll probably go back
like
down,
the numbers
bro.
that I'm putting out. The what?
It'll probably go back down.
Yeah, it might just be
down.
like it goes up and down, up and down. Yeah, like this past week, it's just been crazy volume. Like I was like, because I was thinking in my head, I was like, it usually has not been taking me this long to get these workouts done. So, but I'm learning more about these. I'm reading a book right now. It's called, I think it's At Your Best, or something like that. And it talks about green zones in your day. So it really talks about how you only have about 3 to 5 hours of peak performance each day.
Dang.
And I'm noticing as I'm doing an audio book, because read faster, you can do stuff while you're listening.
Mm-hmm.
But he talks about how you really only have 3 to 5 hours where you're at your peak. And as he's saying that, I'm looking back on like my day and like, where do I think my peak hours are? And I think I've been using my peak hours at the gym, which is good in some aspects. If my main thing right now is gym work, but I think it's affecting my other work because I'm in more of like yellow zone, trying to like study for this test next week, or yellow zone when I'm like editing the podcast, or stuff like that. Or at red zone when I'm hanging out with Mckenzi and we're talking.
The red zone's where
you're snoozing.
That's when you score touchdowns, though. Red zone.
The red zone. But
No,
it's also when
asleep.
you run out of gas in your car.
Yeah.
And hit the red zone.
I get zombie Trevor half the time. I'm just kidding.
Yeah. I get zombie you sometimes, though.
Oh, yeah. It's mutual.
Like, whenever I came over last night, you were like,
yep.
Like, I've been up all
I feel
day
that right
work.
now, bro. I was up all night building these desks, just drawers, whatever it is. See, I can't even function right. Like
Wake
to
up.
sleep.
So I mean, just kind of aligning that knowledge with my goals now, I think it's really going to help in an aspect of everything, not just my fitness goals and career goals, but also life goals.
Mhm.
So,
That's great.
Soccer goals.
soccer.
That's a wrap,
It's
bro.
football.
They have goals.
That's a wrap.
Football. Yep.
That's a solid
So
first
this
guess,
has
bro.
been the Put Work In podcast. Mckenzi, we want to thank you for being our very first guest on the podcast.
course.
You've been
Plug your
filling us
Instagram.
with great information.
Oh,
Yeah.
my.
What's your plug?
Okay, check me out. It's Kenzi, KENZI _creations, but I should make this easier. But the K is the C is a K for creation. So, and then an underscore after that.
Plug your Etsy.
It's Kenzi Creation Studio. Same thing all around. Kenzi, no
Sweet.
E at the end, creations with a K. Thank you.
If you need anything custom made,
Yeah.
costume wise, or even, you're just about to go on the night of your life at a Taylor Swift concert.
Yeah.
Hey.
I've been in Taylor Swift world, bejeweled little corsets all the way, man. But yeah.
Hit her
wonderful.
up for all your sewing needs.
Mhm.
She might be slammed right now, so she might be not be able to get to you.
Who knows?
But maybe in the
Hit
future
Trevor for
she'll
the
open her doors back up.
FPVs.
Yeah.
Yep. Just
No.
Trev. I'm actually doing a thing right now. It's called 3 packs a day. So flying 3 times a day. And I can already see, I'm in the newbie gains part of it again. I can already see my skill level increasing dramatically, but there's going to be a point where it's like slow percentages. But yeah, just Trev everywhere. You can see me fly my drones. And then
Yep.
Dylan McCullum.
At Dill the Young. Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. Weekly vlogs out twice a week. Still got to do another one this
Twice
week.
a week.
Yay.
Twice a week. So that's my goal. That's another goal for me. At least for
Mhm.
January. Might pull it back to 1 next month. I don't know. Might do 2 forever. I don't know. We'll see what happens. Might do none. Might quit. Not gonna happen. But yeah, Dill the Young. Hit me up. Follow me. Like, subscribe. Put Work In podcast. Tell a friend. Hit the bell on the.
Tell a friend.
If you're on YouTube,
5-star review. We're actually on Apple
We're
Podcasts
on Apple
now. We didn't even
Podcasts
talk
now.
about that.
Woo.
That happened this week. So we're expanding our growth. But yeah, wherever you're at, subscribe, write a comment, leave us 5-star review.
Comment how rough Rylan looks right now eating that pizza. Man, it looks rough.
In the background,
That's
look
some
like a
good
mad
pizza, though.
scientist. But
Aw.
yeah, we'll see you next time, guys.
Hit the bell, and we'll see you.